Hey guys, Keon here. I'm going to be hosting episode 5 with a special guest this time as Gershom is sick. In this episode, we're going to go over some action from the weekend in all of world football, be answering some of your guys' emails. We're going to go over Week 15 NFL scores, take a look at the playoff picture, and see what's changed in the MVP race. All right, guys, I'm joined here with Daniel Rabinowitz. He has his own show.
Hello.
He has his own show in Herzliya, Israel, a radio show. And we're really pleased to have him with us. He knows his stuff. And, just introducing him right now.
Glad to be here. It's about 7:40 p.m. here for me right now. Excited to talk about some sports. Let's get into it.
Yeah, we're all excited. So we're going to first start off, as we usually do, with the world football part of our show. We're going to talk about Man City properly beating Tottenham 4-1. Shows really how good they are.
Good is an understatement. They are miles better than the second best team. I am a fan of Manchester United.
There you go.
You can really see a difference against everyone they play. Although the derby was pretty close in contest, but against Tottenham, against Liverpool, they have thrashed their opponents.
And I think
4-1 it could have been more. It really could have been more.
Definitely. And I think what sets them apart from, Liverpool, Tottenham, Man United, all the teams that are following them, Chelsea, Man City successfully is able to beat the top teams. They have no problem with the lower teams, but they also properly beat the top teams 4-1. I think the closest one was the Manchester Derby.
Also Chelsea, I think, was 1-0.
Okay, yeah.
But it was at Stamford Bridge.
There you go.
But yeah, no. I mean, if you look at United's record against the top six, also Tottenham actually has a worse record than United against the top six. But you're right. Like you said, that's the biggest difference, and it's what's keeping them in first place right now.
I think with the loss, Tottenham is now 21 points behind Manchester City, and that was, signaled by Kevin De Bruyne's celebration.
No, was that what he was signaling? I read somewhere that it was for David Silva.
Oh, maybe
he wasn't at the game.
I don't think he confirmed it, but I also read something that it was now that 21 points difference between Tottenham and Man City. Maybe it was just a coincidence,
which is crazy.
Yeah. So it's Tottenham now has to fight to get back into the top 4, and kind of segueing into 4, we're going to talk about Arsenal, who always seems to find themselves in 4th place. They won barely 1-0 versus a very struggling Newcastle team. Shows kind of how they're struggling as well. Arsenal is not the same Arsenal of yesteryear.
At the same time, the competition right now isn't it's all around better in the Premier League. Arsenal are struggling. A lot of people say Wenger out, but you have to realize when you fire your coach like that, no matter what, you're going to go downwards anyways. So
and especially a coach who's been there for a long time.
Yeah. I just want to say, as a Man U fan, I can say that confidently. After we fired Ferguson, you really could still see a difference.
Yeah, 100%. And I actually wanted to talk about Manchester United. I mean, just to ask you a real question, what do you think it is with Lukaku and why he can't score against big teams?
Okay, well, first I just wanted to say that I am not a Lukaku hater. I hate the Man U fan base so much, and it's he'll have a bad game. Yes, it's the big games that he doesn't show up so much, especially the Derby, but he does exactly what we asked of him, to score against the smaller clubs.
Okay.
When Zlatan's full and healthy, Zlatan is the big game player, so I trust Mourinho in what he's going to do, start who when they're needed.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I can't tell you how to solve Lukaku not scoring against the big clubs, because I can't tell you what the difference is. He just looks like he's not putting as much effort, or maybe they're holding him down better. It's tough to say, but
got you. Yeah.
Regardless, we've been missing Pogba in a lot of the big games.
Definitely.
So I feel like that's also a huge factor.
I notice it when he comes back. It's just a different form of attack, really. He just brings so much energy into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not concerned. You're not concerned from Lukaku's form.
No, I'm not concerned. A different season, we would be top of the table.
Fair play.
Pogba is not. If he's not injured for 2 months, this could be a completely different table. I mean, I still say City would be first, but we probably wouldn't be 8 behind or 11 behind.
Yeah.
So
now that
by the way, just wanted to point out
because
I was looking at it, Tottenham is closer to last place Swansea City than they are to first place Man City.
Wow, that's interesting. I think it's more of a testament to Manchester City than it is to any other team. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, they have now. Man City has 16 wins in the league in a row, which is obviously the new record, and we'll see if they can continue that. Next up, Real won the Club World Cup 1-0 versus Grêmio, the Brazilian club team. This just continues their dominance in it's their second Club World Cup in a row, and one of another trophy in 2017, and. It's really interesting to see how they'll now do in 2018 with this struggling start.
This is their 4th trophy of the year, right?
Yeah, there you go. They've won the La Liga, Champions League, the World Cup, and the Super Cup. Actually, it would be 5th if you count both Super Cups.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, against whatever.
Against your Man U.
Yeah. But no, hopefully it can be a turnaround for them, El Clasico's coming up.
Definitely.
So
they needed some momentum.
Hopefully can spark something,
Yeah. It's well, I just saw this today that Ronaldo has missed practice for the 2nd day in a row. So that could be some cause for concern.
Wow.
Definitely me. I like to see Real win. That I'm a fan, but it's concerning to see the Ballon d'Or winner not practicing ahead of the biggest game of the season, But
still, he's one of the most in shape players in the world, people in the world.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, definitely.
If he's not practicing, that doesn't mean that he's not in form. Maybe he's just getting a little rest.
Maybe the age is catching up.
We won't know until more information is given. But
true. Yeah.
For now, I wouldn't be too concerned.
Got you. Barcelona win 4-0 over the weekend. It definitely could have been more if it wasn't for the goalpost. But that was one of their most convincing victories. They purely dominated the game, and coupled with the Valencia loss, they go even further above everyone else in La Liga.
I still wouldn't say it's over.
Yeah,
One El Clasico is all it takes to change the entire landscape of the season. So wait, hold on. If they're playing right now, their next game will be almost at the very end of the season, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see.
A lot of season left. It's 100%. Not like the Prem where it's really tough to see anyone catching up to City.
Yeah.
I still would say that this is a solid race.
And it's happened before where either Barca or Real have been in first place by a strong margin, not as strong as City's, of course, but 8 to 12 points. And we see them you mess up 1 or 2 times and, the other teams are right back in it. So we'll see how they fare. I wanted to really quickly bring this up. The Dortmund won with a late Christian Pulisic goal. We, as both Americans and fans of the U.S. national team, love to see.
It was a really nice touch.
It was.
Yeah.
And it's good to see him succeeding in Europe, and definitely one of the better teams in Europe. And so we just wanted to quickly shout him out. And Dortmund, that's a 3rd win in a row under their new manager.
Good to hear. Good to see.
Yeah,
they're still not second, no?
No, they're still behind Schalke and Leipzig, and of course Bayern, who's in first place.
Okay.
But it's good to see them getting back on track, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Dortmund's a big team in Europe, a high-class team. So you expect them going out of the Champions League is sad, but the Europa League is a pretty good competition too. There's good teams in it this year, especially. Yeah, let's not make jokes.
If they can win it, that's all that matters. They get a trophy. Yeah.
No, but there's good teams in there this year, so it's a solid competition. Mm-hmm. And trophy is all that matters.
Correct. So we actually plugged our email last week, and one of you guys emailed us, and with a really good question. Actually, we were going over it earlier, and we had to read it a couple times before we could start thinking of an answer and fully understanding. So I'll go ahead and read it. It reads, "Truly superb programs are built around superb and selfless leaders, where a team is ahead of the individual. Case in point is Germany. Sustained success as a powerhouse. Beckenbauer, Oliver Kahn, Klose, Muller, etc. all shared the same ideology that the team comes first. We seldom see that in our teams, and when they manage to shine, at times their success is not sustained. And they're asking us our opinion of this." Well, it's a very deep question, multiple levels on this. Very insightful. Yeah.
It's obvious they did their research.
They did their research. This person knows what they're talking about. So we'll start with unpacking it from the top. Soccer or football is a team sport, first and foremost. So if you have a player who doesn't put the team ahead of themselves, your team's just not going to succeed. And some people will bring up Ronaldo as that player, but he's not. He's obviously, this is a team sport. If Ronaldo only cared about himself, Real wouldn't succeed. Real, or when he was at Manchester United, they wouldn't have succeeded the way that they did. So that's.
Not to tie this into the whole Messi-Ronaldo argument, but this is the most common argument for Messi.
Yeah, I hear this as well, yeah.
So, there's obviously some reasoning behind it,
I think Ronaldo cares.
Football, it's a team sport, so.
Yeah, but I think he cares a lot about winning. I don't think there's any doubt in that. So if his team is succeeding and winning, he doesn't have any problem with whatever's going on, And usually, because he's so good, it usually is through him. So I think that's what we see. But yeah, the person who emailed this is definitely right.
Germany is a great example.
Correct. They're
I really can't think of another country that embodies that.
100%. Because while they have some very super high-class players, I can't think of a superstar, like somebody on Ronaldo, Messi's level.
Yeah, Neuer, but at the same time, he's a goalkeeper, so it's a different argument altogether. But I completely agree. They don't have that one player that just says, okay, when it's time to win the game, you put the ball on his feet. They say, okay, everyone all together, we're going to do that. And historically, besides sports, that's just the German, mindset in a way.
Yeah. They're very, how do we say, together. They're very, you know what I'm saying? But prideful, 100%. And when you say, Germany is one of the only teams that I can think of in recent memory that their success has been sustained every single year. I don't remember the last time Germany was bad.
Definitely don't. So just a follow-up question, to go off of this question, what do you think would be the solution? If a country has all these superstar players, let's say France or Belgium.
I think Belgium is a good example.
Because we see all the superstar players, but you can tell that they don't have what Germany has in the way that their players all play together.
Yeah,
so how do you fix that? Is it a type of player like Pogba who brings everyone together? You know what I mean? Off the pitch. like makes it, and Mueller, like how Mueller makes everyone happy and together?
Yeah.
Or is it based on the coach? What do you think?
The coach is really important because you don't want to put out an 11 players on the field who don't work together well and who don't have chemistry, no matter, what the superstar name is. Like, if Mertens, who's having a phenomenal season, doesn't work well with De Bruyne or with Lukaku and most of the other team, you don't want to play him because the good of the team should come before the good of the individual. So in that aspect, the coach needs to step up and have some accountability towards that. But a lot of it has to do with the mindset of the players. You need a captain, and I think Germany with Philipp Lahm had the perfect player.
And
Schweinsteiger, yeah. They need
players who have been there, done that.
Exactly. You need the experience. You need those veteran players who come in, and maybe there's this young hotshot or this someone who's, thinks they're better than everybody else. You need one guy to come and give him a smack upside the head and say, "No, this is a team. This is a team. We need to work together. No matter how good you think you are, no matter what you've done at your club, or we got to come together right now and win this game."
And even still, with Germany being a very team-oriented team, they still, like in most I won't say most, but in a lot of World Cups, they'll have the top scorer, Mueller.
Yeah,
Klose. In the past, Klose, numerous. Klose is like the top scorer
in all
time in the World Cup.
Yeah, and
so it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone has to. Yes, everyone has to contribute, but not everyone is destined to score. You know what I mean? It may still be that one specific person is going to do that, but it's the whole mindset of being a team. Is what matters.
100%. And that culture, I think it comes with nation to nation. I don't think it's in every culture, and like that ideology is very important to have. And once you're coming up from the youth program, I think it all starts from there. As a kid, if you're like, the team is more important, which they've obviously done in Germany, then once you become a pro, then you still have the same mindset.
I wonder if Germans in Germany, I wish Gershon were here, because this would be a good question to ask him.
Yeah.
If players who are growing up and aspiring to be a football player in Germany, is their dream always to go to Bayern? Is my question.
Oh, yeah. That's a good question.
I feel like the best ones always end up there, one way or another.
Yeah, and you look at historically, you got Beckenbauer, Oliver Kahn, now Mueller, Lahm, Schweinsteiger, Klose. They all were at Bayern Munich. So it's maybe. But I look at other nations, and sure, they can succeed at times, but it's not as powerful as teams like Germany. I think Brazil is the same way. Like my case in point with Brazil is when they won the Olympic gold medal on penalty shootouts against Germany. Yeah. While the gold medal in the Olympics for football isn't too high of a profile trophy, but you saw when Neymar hit that penalty, he dropped to his knees crying, with the whole stadium jumping up and down and crying, and it was just gave me goosebumps. I get goosebumps thinking about it. It's and
they beat the Germans.
They got their revenge, and just to see Neymar, who is a superstar, he's probably the next one to win the Ballon d'Or after Ronaldo and Messi. There's.
Have you guys had that debate on the show, by the way?
Yeah, we've brought it up. Yeah, we've talked about it. I said if Brazil win the World Cup in 2018, that Neymar could win it as soon as next year.
Yeah, solid pick.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one, I would probably Neymar's the easy choice. Yeah. So I'm gonna go, and so is Mbappe. So I'm gonna go with Dybala.
Oh, that's a good pick.
If a lot of he's still young, so he's got time. But sorry, I went off topic.
Yeah, no worries. That was interesting to get you. That was a great pick that I didn't even think about. But yeah, and like teams like Italy. Well, I mean, they didn't make it this year, or again, like Netherlands, who didn't make it this year. And I think a big reason why they didn't make it this year was that lack of identity. You know, they didn't know what team they were. And
usually Italy is the hard nosed. We're gonna grit out on defense and then score a goal. 1-0 win.
Yeah,
I feel like mostly.
Yeah, and then with Netherlands, you have the total football.
Doing the exact opposite to them.
Yeah, and I think that's why Germany and teams like Germany and Spain have been good, and Brazil have been good for so many years, is the fact that they have an identity.
Argentina too.
Argentina as well, yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, they have an identity and they stick to it every game, year after year, and that's how they succeed. It's I think that's the main reason. Yeah. All right. So that basically.
Hope we answered your question.
Yeah, I hope we answered your question, guys. Just definitely, we tried our best. It was kind of a deep question, but we do encourage you guys to continue to email us. We love to do this, and it provides for a really great dialogue. So, you guys, we could just chat, or you could bring up a question like this where we can spend 10 minutes talking about it and all the different ways we can go. It's just a rabbit hole, really, that provides for a really interesting conversation. So again, our email is strictlyfootballpodcast@gmail.com. It's in the description if you're listening it to on iTunes or YouTube. It's all there, and we love to talk to you guys. So thank you for that email. Hope we answered your question. And with that concludes the world football part of the show, and we're gonna come back to you guys with the NFL part. All right, so now we're gonna talk about the Week 15 NFL scores, and we're gonna just start off right from the last Thursday night football game of the season, and it wasn't that great of a game, but you go ahead.
You had to expect a shit show.
Yeah, definitely. The Broncos beat the Colts 25-13. Both of these teams' seasons are over. Really, nothing to play for, nothing to watch. It's kind of a bad game. But then we had a slate of Saturday games. The Lions beat the Bears 20-10.
Yeah, NFC North rivalry.
Yeah, it was good to watch, and the Bears are still in the hunt to get into the playoffs.
The Lions.
The Lions. I meant. Excuse me.
Cut you off. Sorry, it was 20-10 to the Lions.
Yeah.
They're a solid team. I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs, but regardless, if they're going to make it, then they're going to end up being the sixth seed.
Yeah.
At best. Mm-hmm. So they'd probably play the Rams.
Yeah, most likely.
So if there's one team I could pick, it would be the Lions. So Saints, Panthers.
Yeah. Oh, just for the record, I mean, our listeners know that Gershom and I are Rams fans, and as well, Daniel is also a Rams fan.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. I'm wearing my girly jersey right now, actually.
There you go.
But we'll get to that.
We'll get to that soon enough. Yeah. We had a nice week, but we'll get to that. The Chiefs beat the Chargers 30-13 in what was a very defining game.
This game was close, and then it wasn't close. I think it was 14-13 at one point or something like that. Like I'm saying, it was close, and then the Chiefs just scored touchdown, interception, touchdown, interception, touchdown. Rivers had one of those games where you're just like, oh, this is why he doesn't have an MVP. This is why the Chargers don't have a Super Bowl. It's because sometimes Phillip Rivers will just throw one of those games that it's like, why do you have to throw like that? And I'm not even talking about his way he throws the ball, which is weird. It's very unconventional to begin with. He throws it from the side. Yeah. It's like a little kid trying to say, all right, whatever.
It's good.
The Chiefs needed this win. The Chiefs needed this win after going from 5-0 to 6-6. To be where they are now. So it's the most important win of the season for them, without doubt.
Yeah, definitely. That I think gives them pretty good position to win the AFC West, because they have the head-to-head against the Chargers as well. But the Chargers are still in the fight, I would say. But we'll get to that a little later. The Browns go 0-14 now, officially. versus the Ravens, who beat them 27-10.
I'm a little embarrassed. I did pick the Browns to win this game, and on my radio show, I said I slammed my hand on the. And I was like, this will be the upset of the year. And I'm looking at this, I'm watching the score. The Browns get it. Oh my God. It was 10-17
Yeah,
and the Browns had the ball on like their own 2-yard line.
Yep.
It's snapped to Deshaun Kaiser. The offensive line obviously can't protect because, come on, that would be doing your job. So why would the Browns want to do that? So, and he gets sacked. Ball falls loose. Ravens recover in the end zone. It's 20.
Yeah, and then that's the end. Like from there, the Browns do a Browns move.
Last week was worse though.
Yeah,
to go from.
Oh yeah,
they were up by 2 touchdowns against the Packers in the
Brett
fourth
Hundley
quarter.
Too.
Classic Browns.
Classic Browns. The Redskins defeated the Cardinals 20-15. I mean, not many repercussions from that game. Both both are 6-8 now.
Two depth teams, a lot of injuries on both sides.
Yep. But
Redskins with all their, not quarterback, wide receiver, running backs, just all their other players, and then the Cardinals, their quarterback and running back.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of expected the Redskins to win this one, but it's not too big of a game to, if you're watching the games this weekend, we had some really good ones you guys should have watched, and perfect segue to the Eagles versus the Giants, which turned out to be a pretty good game.
Yeah, the NFC East is they're always close games. But you could say that about a lot of division rivalries, but especially the NFC East. The Giants had a chance. They really had a chance. They were winning. With not only were they winning, but they had the last drive of the game, and they were pushing for a touchdown, and Eli throws to Evan Ingram in the end zone. And I really thought it was a PI, but the rest didn't. So Eagles win.
Yeah, Nick Foles.
And Nick Foles played well. Listen, he's not getting the credit he deserves. Nick Foles 1 year had I wouldn't say MVP caliber, but a Pro Bowl caliber at the least season. He's one of the only players to throw 7 touchdowns in a game. He did that with the Eagles, actually, right?
Yeah, he did.
So
no, he's a good. I think he's just overshadowed by Carson Wentz a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But
who was the MVP at the time?
Yeah, exactly. Bills beat the Dolphins 24-16. Bills still kind of in the hunt for that AFC wild card.
They're in the 6th seed right now.
Yeah.
Bills are a solid team. Solid. Solid's the best word I would use.
There you go.
But I wouldn't mind playing the Bills in the playoffs. Too bad they're in a different conference. But but I mean, coming off the snow game. Yeah. Did they come up with like a title for that?
I think they called it the Snowball.
Snowball. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's
it really was. So to come off that with a win, now to win in
No, it was in Buffalo. It was in Buffalo. Yeah.
Okay. But no snow.
No snow this time. So the next game was the Packers and the Panthers. The return of Rodgers and the quick return of Rodgers, and he goes back to IR after that. But he didn't look too bad,
He looked good, and then he looked he's not ready.
Yeah,
there were times when he underthrew. Specifically, one play in particular where he underthrew Jordy Nelson. It would have been a touchdown. Jordy was, I wouldn't say open, but open enough to where usually Aaron Rodgers will hit him. Jordy gets he was 10, 15 yards away from the end zone, but underthrown, picked off, 3 interceptions in this, actually.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
3 touchdowns also. So, like I said, the good and the bad.
Yeah. But I think so. I mean, that kind of squanders the Packers' dreams of making it to the playoffs.
Yeah, they're out of the playoffs.
And
also, just wanted to say they were pushing for a game-tying touchdown.
Right.
Rodgers makes a nice pass to Geronimo Allison, and what can you do? Great defensive play by, I couldn't tell you who, but a great defensive play by one of the Panthers' cornerback. And he fumbles the ball.
Yeah. And but that keeps the the Panthers' dreams alive, and they'll likely also make a wild card berth. Maybe even win the division. I think they play the Saints one more time. But definitely, that was a good one to watch. But this basically signals the return of Brett Hundley as the Packers starting quarterback. As Aaron Rodgers goes.
UCLA.
Yeah, he's a local kid. He's from UCLA. It's good to see him. Good to see him starting out there. The Jaguars absolutely demolished the Houston Texans, 45-7. I don't even know what to say. Saxonville,
they are the best team in the AFC, not named New England or Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I can agree with that. They're super strong. I think they could be up to New England or Pittsburgh's stature, maybe if they had a better quarterback. That's not
more
Blake Bortles.
Experience. Bortles has been playing well lately, but yeah, he's not Brady or Big Ben experience.
Yeah, they have the running back.
Or talented.
Leonard Fournette is a beast. They got their defense is Jesus. It's out of this world. It's oh my god.
Wow.
It's a brick wall.
It's up there with the '85 Bears as the best defense of all time. I mean, my opinion's biased because I actually get to watch this team play, and it is so tough to score on them. I mean, the Texans' one touchdown was a prayer up to DeAndre Hopkins, who, if he wasn't one of the, right now at least, for sure, top 3, maybe top 2 receivers in the NFL. If it was someone else, it was not a catch. I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
But it was him, so he got it.
Yeah. Minnesota continues to... bounces back, actually, and wins 34-7 over Cincinnati. Very good game for the Vikings. They had shut them out. They shut out the Bengals all the way until the fourth quarter. So, they're a scary team to play.
And A.J. McCarron got them the touchdown drive. Who the backup, Andy Dalton, had to be benched because of his awful performance. But football's a momentum sport, and when you hear reports of your 15-year tenured coach, Marvin Lewis,
not caring,
saying that this is probably his last year with the team. So when you hear those kinds of reports, it's like, all right, let's go start the game. Not like, let's go knock some heads off. Like the type of,
it's a different intensity to it.
Yeah. So. Good job, media. Way to go, media, on ruining yet another team. And probably wouldn't have been a game either ways, but whatever.
Yeah. The Saints beat the Jets 31-19. Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram continue to steamroll defensive lines. They're beasts. It's insane.
Yeah, both are in the Pro Bowl. Are we talking about the?
Yeah, we could talk about the Pro Bowl soon.
Cool. Well, they're both in the Pro Bowl. First time 2 running backs have made the Pro Bowl since the 70s is what I read. Okay. Which is 2 running backs from the same team.
Okay. Wow.
Which is
crazy. Yeah.
It's like, not even when you think about it happening in the 70s. The fact that happened is crazy. That is a position that is like, you have one guy and a couple other guys who
give him a break.
You just put him in so the other guy can get a rest.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's insane.
Kamara, what a dime that they found in the 3rd round of this year's draft. What a pleasant surprise.
Similar to kind of Dak from last year.
Yeah.
Moving on.
If you were a quarterback, that's a great comparison.
Yeah, you feel me? Same. I think 3rd round as well. Moving on.
I just wanted to say.
Yeah, go for it.
Vegas said that Vegas gave the Saints a 16-point. They were a 16-point favorite in this one.
Uh-huh.
I bet on that one. Just wanted to say. I bet on the Jets to not lose by 6 points.
Jeez.
And I made my money back. All right, next one.
Yeah, next one. The Rams handed it to the Seahawks, 42-7. Man, it was 40-0 at one point. Like, gee, Mr. Todd Gurley, 4 touchdowns, over 150 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and 1 receiving touchdown. This man cannot be stopped. Man.
Todd Gurley is right now the best running back in the NFL, but sort of, maybe it's still Bell. But I just wanted to say, the coach of the year.
Yeah.
It should be a tie. It should not only be Sean McVay, but Keon, I am telling you, our special teams is a step.
Man.
2, 3 steps above everyone else.
Pharaoh
John
Cooper.
Fossil. Yeah, Pharaoh Cooper. All 3 of our special teams players are starters in the
yeah, we have a clean
Pharaoh
sweep
Cooper,
of them. Yeah.
Johnny Hecker and Greg Zuerlein are all starters. Yep. I really wish I could find out if that's like a first-time thing for that. But John Fossil, what a legend!
Yeah, man, he's
what's his nickname?
His nickname around the Rams camp is Bones. John Bones Fossil. You know, he's a skinny guy. If you guys haven't seen him, so that's kind of an appropriate nickname. But yeah,
the biggest moment in the game, like the game-defining moment, was the end of the second half.
Yeah,
you know, we're 3rd and 23 or something like that.
And then
you think, all right, we're just gonna run the ball, let the clock run out, and go to halftime. The Seahawks are thinking the same thing. Boom!
Todd
Gurley breaks loose for like a 50-yard touchdown.
Wow. Yeah, man. That was crazy. I wanted to bring up one more thing. The Rams all but clinched the NFC West, and this is, some people are saying how this is a passing of the torch, maybe, you know, to the Rams now, but I don't think it was a passing of the torch. I think the Rams just went out there and ripped it out of the Seahawks' hand.
They said, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, this is a very, very young Rams team, one of the youngest in the league, similar to Jacksonville. And so, you know, as Rams fans, we're hoping that this team will be good for years to come.
This is an up-and-coming rivalry.
Yeah.
And with the Rams taking not only this win, but the division this year.
Yeah.
It really sets the stage for next year when Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor all come back.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Between these 2 teams.
Next up is the game that we highlighted for you guys on our last episode. The Patriots scraped by 27-24 against the Steelers in Heinz Field. Where to start with this one? You know?
More controversy. More controversy with the refs.
Yeah. So was it a catch or no? I'm just going to straight up ask you.
If Dez's wasn't a catch, then this isn't a catch.
Okay. Consistency.
Yeah, but I mean, there's like 3 years in between those. But even still, you know, if the Steelers, you know, don't throw the interception, fans wouldn't be as upset about it not being a catch.
Fair play.
You know, the only people I'm seeing say that was a catch are Steelers fans.
Yeah.
So, you know, when that's happening, there's already an issue to begin with.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm putting this game on Big Ben. I think he needs to also take some responsibility. He faked the spike, but he only had 1 receiver running. And, you know, by then the defense...
He's done that play before, but when he did it before, I can't tell you who he did it against, but I can tell you who he threw it to. And that was Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Who,
you know,
who was no longer available at that point in this game because, sadly, Antonio Brown gets injured. He's out for what seems like the rest of the regular season. Hopefully they get him back in time for their first playoff game. Having a bye definitely should help with that. But Antonio Brown was a big MVP candidate, so him going down is just another name to add to the list of high-quality players, you know, top players in this league who have gone down this season for at least a few weeks, if not the whole year.
Yeah.
Wow. The list is so long. I'm thinking of it right now. You know, I was going to say a couple names, but there are so many names. David Johnson, Odell. Look at me, I'm just going to do it anyways.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. David Johnson, Odell.
Right. Odell, Aaron Rodgers for 8
Richard
weeks.
Sherman.
I didn't even think about defense.
Yeah.
But insane. Wow. It's crazy.
Yeah. Carson Wentz.
Allen Robinson the first week of the year.
Yeah.
He's a solid player. So,
yeah.
Wentz, yeah.
Jeez.
So, it's tough to Carson Palmer. Yeah. All right. Let's stop it there because names will just keep coming and coming. It's a tough year.
Yeah,
it's a tough sport.
Yeah, it's a smash mouth sport. Injuries come with it, but this has been an unusually amount to the star players. Moving on to a surprisingly exciting game down the stretch. The Niners beat the Titans 25-23 to extend their win streak to 3. And the Jimmy G train keeps rolling.
Yeah. 4 in their last 5.
Yep.
Undefeated with Garoppolo under center.
Yeah. I've been on this Jimmy G hype train. I really like him.
Yeah. He's everything they wanted and more.
Yes.
The future looks good. I mean, listen, they may have lost places in the draft order, but if I'm a San Francisco fan, which I wouldn't say I was a fan back in the day, but having a Joe Montana jersey, if I had to pick a team to root for before the Rams were a thing, it was the Niners.
Yeah.
And it was during some tough years. So let's not call me a bandwagon, please. Thank you. But yeah, if I were a Niner fan, I wouldn't even mind losing a couple draft picks because
Jimmy G's
I like what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, he's a possible franchise quarterback. He looks that way,
Definitely. Right now, we still have a small sample size, not even half a season in total. So, but right now, I would say, is he undefeated in his career? Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
With the Patriots,
he is
3-0 with the Niners.
He has not lost in his starting career. It's
system quarterback, my ass.
Yeah.
I have to say it.
Sunday Night Football. The Cowboys defeated the Raiders 20-17 in Oakland.
Oh,
that was Sunday night.
Oh. Yeah, Israel time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Got you. But yeah, Cowboys still in the hunt to get into the NFC playoffs as a wild card. It was an okay game.
The Cowboys should have won. They get Zeke back now for the last couple games of the year.
And I'm hyped on that.
Hurt. Yeah. I'm not hyped on that. That's why I wanted Shahan to win, actually. All right.
Yeah, we'll talk about that right after the next game we talk about.
Yeah.
Which is the Falcons and beating the Bucks 24-21, which, just for the record, due to the missed field goal, got me into the Super Bowl of our fantasy versus Mr. Daniel Rabinowitz here with me. Yeah.
T-Park Rec League. I looked undefeatable at one point, 11-0.
He did.
It looked like a kick around, like a 10-0, whatever I was. I don't know.
Yeah.
But 2 losses towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Keon with an insane win streak and picking up players like Kamara and that trade we made. Me and Keon playing in the finals has a lot of emotional attachment to it because we traded early in the year Zeke for Julio.
Yeah.
Because
I
had Kareem Hunt and Le'Veon also, so I was comfortable.
And then I had him for a few weeks before he went out with the suspension. I think I had him for 3 game weeks. He went out with the suspension. People were calling, complaining how it was a bad trade and how this and that. But, my team kept winning even without Zeke because I picked up Kamara.
Who complained?
Everybody in our league complained that, why'd you give him Julio? You're so stupid, stuff like that. But you know where they are now?
Been underperforming season
Okay,
long.
but But you know where they are now? They're in the consolation bracket. You and I are in the Super Bowl.
But, I just wanted to point out, after the first game of the season, your co-host, Gershom Zeller, decided that the player who, before the draft, Gershom told me, I am going to draft this guy. We were talking about Kareem Hunt. Gershom said, I'm going to draft him. And I said, all right, don't overpick, he's good, but I don't know how good he is. And then shut me up. He shut me up the first week when he had 3 touchdowns, almost 200 total yards against the Patriots, and then the day after, I think it was a Monday or a Tuesday after week 1, I wake up to an angel, a God gift, sent from heaven above. I look at my phone and it says trade proposed from Gershom. He offers me Kareem Hunt for Keenan Allen. And for the first couple of weeks, it looked like I embarrassed it. Oh, also I gave him Derrick Henry. But yeah, it looked like the trade was awful for him. And then towards the middle of the year, Kareem Hunt is giving me 7-8 point games. So it's looking like Gershom won the trade. And now I would say it's even. Obviously, I'm a little biased because people are still trying to tell me that I robbed him. But whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, in the end, what matters is that you and I are in the Super Bowl, and it's gonna. I have Zeke back for the Super Bowl, which I'm pretty stoked on. But
he's trying to avoid last place. That's all that matters.
Yeah. And then my quarterback before was Carson Wentz. Funny story, Gershom dropped Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was Gershom's.
If we want to talk about all of Gershom's mistakes, Gershom told Shahan, Mark Ingram isn't an RB1. Let's not even bring this up. I have so many examples of. All right.
He also got mad at. I think
quarterback.
I lost my quarterback.
You lost your quarterback, and so who's talking? You, me?
Go for it.
I just want to say that you lost your quarterback in Carson Wentz. I lost mine in Aaron Rodgers. So this is going to be a good game. I'm starting Goff, Keon.
You're starting Goff, not Mariota.
In the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Roethlisberger over Carr. But
that's not a tough choice.
Yeah, no, Carr has been underperforming this year. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this game. I have some, I don't know, my wide receivers. I have Robert Woods on the bench who could potentially have a big game. Jarvis Landry, I have who I don't know where he's going to fall. Michael Thomas, he's going to do well for me. I know that. But
Jarvis has been really consistent. Michael Thomas is a Taft local. He went to our high school.
Yep. Yeah, we like to support it. I think I actually read a stat about the Saints. They're the first to have 3 players all above 1,000 yards in rushing, 2 in rushing and 1 in receiving. So
wow, that's a tough stat to calculate. So props to whoever came up with that.
Yeah,
and that's a really good stat.
Yeah,
but I think the reason it's so tough to do is to have 2 running backs over 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
that's nearly impossible. Unless you're just running the ball 95% of the time, which is why I assume this is the first time that's happened. But the tough decision for me is: do I start Devontae Adams? Xavier Rhodes guarding him. He was fine with Brett Hundley under center, but after a second concussion for the season. Mm-hmm. That's my tough call.
My tough call is Jamal Williams because Brett Hundley is coming back.
Yeah.
Is he going to get more touches and all that? But
I don't want to be giving you any advice.
Right? No.
Playing him against the Vikings is
yeah, exactly. Which is they're very strong defense.
Oh, this is going to be a good game.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good game.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't already have their Super Bowl or whatever you want to call it on Week 16, do it, because Week 17, players like Todd Gurley, Le'Veon are not going to be playing because
they're ready for the
playoffs.
Play for? Yeah, exactly.
So,
all right, now we got that dose in. We're going to move on to the MVP race we want to quickly talk about. And I think both of our front runners are Tom Brady. At least for me, I don't know about you.
It's so tough to pick a front runner for this MVP race because this season it's been after one game it changed. You know?
Yep.
Whether it be due to injury or due to the Patriots losing to the Dolphins, it's tough to say who your MVP is. I don't want it to be Brady again.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I don't want it to be Brady again because he's already been recognized as the most valuable player.
Yeah.
When I think of the most valuable player, I like to think of it as the player who, if you took him off his team, what would they be?
Yeah.
You know, seeing the Patriots win without Tom Brady, we have, you know, the Steelers are. You took out Antonio Brown, and they still did pretty well. You know, like they were scoring against the Patriots. So my pick is the player who, if you took him off this team, I'm telling you, we would be awful. 4 wins would be an amazing season if you took Todd Gurley off this team. And that
like it.
I spoiled it. Todd Gurley is my... but again, it's bias, obviously. And it's just because my definition of the MVP is a little different than other people's. But if you took him off the Rams, what would we be? What would they be?
Okay, and yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I'm going to read a couple statistics for him. So he ranks first in NFL touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, with 13, and overall touchdowns in 17. He's second in scrimmage yards at about 1,800, and he's third in rushing yards with 1,100. And he's second among running backs in receiving yards with 630 receiving yards. He's only second to, Le'Veon Bell. And he's the only...
He only has 630?
Yeah, he has 630. But he also, listen to this, he only has 32 fewer scrimmage yards than Le'Veon Bell. Only 32. But he has 76 fewer touches.
Yeah, wow. You give him 4 touches, and he'd be equal to Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. Which is
so his yards per carry is higher. His yards per reception is higher.
Yep.
Touchdowns are higher. It's just that Bell
is Le'Veon Bell.
Give him the ball. So,
yeah,
he's just a workhorse. But, again, it's really tough to make a claim for a running back. But I am telling you, if you took Todd Gurley off this team, what would we be?
Completely agree. Earlier...
also, a shout-out to Case Keenum.
Yeah,
real quick.
Why not?
I won't say he's the MVP, but if you had a different name, if his name wasn't Case Keenum, and you looked at what he's done for the Vikings, he would be easily a top 3. I'm sure the top 3 right now are Brady, Keenum, and Gurley. I don't see who it could be. I mean, Antonio Brown maybe, but he just got injured, so it's tough to say him.
I had Russell Wilson before this last weekend.
Yeah.
But then he was absolutely smothered. He couldn't get anywhere. The defense just completely killed him. But yeah, those are our picks. We love Gurley because biased. We're biased. And we'll continue in this high, like the elite players. The Pro Bowl.
There's
Pro Bowl
still 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
Like I said, it flip flops every single week. If the Patriots lose to the Bills and the Rams win again to the Titans by
Todd Gurley has another 4 touchdowns and then all that stuff. Yeah.
Or if they both do bad and Case Keenum comes out with 6 touches, anything can happen. So there's still a lot of time.
Agreed.
Let's not be too unrealistic like I did with the 6 touchdowns, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So we're going to go and check out the Pro Bowl rosters, which were released. At quarterback, we're going to start with the AFC. They have TB12, Big Ben, and Phillip Rivers. So those are their 3.
You got anyone who
really
surprised? How should we do this? Should we say like one player who got snubbed at that position,
sure,
or at least could have? So if I had to pick one, I'd say I guess Alex Smith. No.
Yeah.
I think he's leading the league in
I can see
efficiency.
That.
It's funny. If Deshaun Watson stayed healthy, he'd probably be up there too.
I can. I think if Deshaun Watson stayed healthy, he could also be in the MVP race.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. If Carson Wentz stayed healthy, I think he would have been 100% the MVP. Like you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of ifs and buts, if, Odell Beckham Jr. wasn't injured, maybe the Giants wouldn't be as bad as they are.
They'd be around the same, just because they still started off when did he get injured? Week 5, week 6?
So they were 0-4, 0-5.
They still started off badly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the week they lost him, they came out with a, whoa, what just happened, win against the Broncos.
Yeah.
I remember that. Wow.
Running backs for the AFC, Le'Veon Bell, Kareem Hunt, and LaShawn McCoy.
Tough to make a claim for anyone else besides maybe Fournette.
Yeah. Just because how important he is to the Jaguars offense.
Yeah.
But
those are. Oh, maybe Melvin Gordon.
I guess. But yeah,
those are probably like the replacements. I would assume those are the top 2 replacements.
Got you. Receivers for the AFC: Antonio Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, and Keenan Allen. I think they got that one pretty right, honestly. I can't think of. I need to try to think of someone who could have been snubbed, but I mean those 4 are the best in their conference, I think.
Anyone else who could have made it?
It's a tough one.
Amari had a bad year. Crabtree had a bad year. Yeah, I don't see anyone else who could have. Those are.
Mm-hmm.
It's a comfortable difference from them to the next best.
Yeah, and the 2 tight ends, I think, is pretty...
Well, actually, sorry.
Go for it.
Sorry. Brandon Cooks had a good year.
Yeah, he...
but again, still, these are the 4 who should have made it. But Brandon Cooks is...
You could make an argument, yeah.
Yeah.
Got you. The 2 tight ends, pretty, I think, confident in both of them. Travis Kelce and Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah. Again, it should be those 2 without a doubt, but Delaney Walker is a good replacement, possibly.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are my 2.
Moving to the NFC, you got...
What? We're not going to do offensive line?
You want to do all those? I'm just not too... I think... you guys can go online at NFL.com or ESPN or wherever. They're all there. Quarterback for the NFC, Carson Wentz, Russell Wilson, and Drew Brees. That's pretty... I'd say, if you can say one person who got snubbed, maybe Case Keenum or Jared Goff.
Yeah, I think, and Goff is the top replacement.
Yeah, Goff will be the replacement for Wentz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
because of the whole injury business.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So Russell Wilson would move to the QB1, Drew Brees would be QB2, Goff would be QB3. I
feel like a lot of these are just based on this person's been good throughout their career, so we're gonna put him in. I mean, I'm not trying to say none of these people are deserving, but
see, that's the argument you make about Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a great quarterback, but a lot of the reason New Orleans are in the position that they're in is due to their 2 running backs.
Yeah, if we want to use that to jump to running back.
Yeah, let's do that.
Or both.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yes, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, and Todd Gurley are the running backs with Gurley starting.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy to see. You see Rams and then 2 Saints following. When you it's a conference that has running backs like Zeke. Well, yes, he was suspended, but still,
Yeah, but you got Devontae Freeman. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got quality running backs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, wow. What else can I say?
Wide receivers: Julio Jones, Adam Thielen, Michael Thomas, and Larry Fitzgerald for the NFC.
This I actually have a problem with.
Okay, let's hear it.
Julio, yes. Thielen, great year. Yes. I don't know if he should be starting, but yes. Michael Thomas, yes. Larry.
So
this
Larry.
is what I meant when I said you're doing it off of Larry Legend. You're basing it off of players who've just been, historically good. Yes, he had a fantastic year. Yes, he's I don't know how old, mid-30s.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
Early 30s. But yeah, yes, he had a great year. But Devontae Adams is much more deserving of this game. Devontae Adams, I don't know if, his numbers are close. Plus, he's been playing banged up. With his backup quarterback, yeah, I guess Fitzgerald has too. But, okay, regardless, I'm just trying to tell you, it should have been Devontae Adams, not Fitzgerald. He got snubbed. And that's still not even my biggest snub of the whole
Who is your biggest snub of the whole Pro Bowl?
Harrison Smith, the safety for the Vikings.
Got you.
When I watched the Rams, the Vikings, we couldn't do anything. And
that is true.
Yes, Xavier Rhodes is a fantastic corner, but we are not the team that has one go-to wide receiver, which is where Rhodes is so tough to beat. We couldn't get anything. Like we couldn't win our third downs because after the first 5 yards, our receivers are covered because this guy keeps getting everywhere on the field, there's a good competition with Landon Collins and Jenkins, but Jenkins should start, and Collins shouldn't be in the Pro Bowl. He had a bad year. He let up 7 touchdowns. He hasn't been Landon Collins. It's another case of putting in a player because he's just been historically good, especially last year.
Yeah,
where he was possibly Defensive Player of the Year. Didn't win it, but he was in the voting.
Got you. And our final 2 tight ends are Zach Ertz and Jimmy Graham. Do you have a problem with this?
No. Rudolph had a great year.
Yeah.
But with Greg Olsen, who's usually one of the 2 to be there, being injured, you can't really argue for anyone else.
They seem to be. Yeah, I think that's a good pick. And that pretty much concludes the NFL part of our show. Thanks for joining us today on the 5th episode of the Strictly Football Podcast. Big shout out to Daniel Rabinowitz for helping us out.
Hope I was a good enough fill-in for superstar Gershom Zeller. I had a lot of fun being here. I hope you guys enjoy the show. And I'm glad Gershom will be back. It's a tough job to do, and only one man's right for it.
There we go. Well, yeah, big shout out to Daniel, and you guys can catch us next time for episode 6 on Thursday. Thanks for listening.